What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Wolverine Swag Show. For this week's episode, it is that fucking, excuse my language, time. It's that week, the week of the game, and we're gonna break down the Maryland win a little because it's gonna lead into the game. But this episode is gonna be on the game, Michigan, Ohio State. We all know what it is. We all know what's at stake. It's Tuesday at the time I'm recording this. I can't even sleep. I'm finally done with school for the week. It's all focus on the game. I'll be at the big house Saturday. I can't wait. Because this game truly means everything. This is the biggest rivalry in sports. And we're gonna have so much to talk about. But first let's get this Maryland game out of the way. Because I think there are a lot of good points in it to kind of lead into the game this week. So we'll start by this. I thought this was by far Michigan's most complete game of the season. Now, was it this was a great kind of quote, not exactly a quote, but someone said this in a podcast that I watch. It was complete, but it was not perfect. That's very true. But this game was one of Michigan's most complete games of the year. They took care of the ball. 0 turnovers. Besides a couple of dumb penalties, the offsides, I really don't get. All you're doing is watching the ball. But besides those, Michigan really did not have many penalties. Just an overall a complete game, a well-coached game besides the mishap at the end of the half. I'm not going to get into that. I think we just kind of know where Sharon is with clock management at this point, and hopefully it never comes back to bite us. But I thought this was Michigan's most complete game by far against Maryland. And if you look at the stats, it's actually funny. Offensively, and especially defensively, Michigan was statistically worse in this game against Maryland than they were against Northwestern. And I'm talking about yards. I'm not talking about first downs. Michigan was very efficient on third down against Maryland. But in terms of yards, Michigan had 496 yards of offense in the Northwestern game, 437 in the Maryland game. Defensively, 246 Michigan gave up in the Northwestern game. Michigan gave up 350 yards of offense in the Maryland game and gave up the same amount of points, basically, three a difference of 3, and one was a garbage time touchdown, so basically less than they did against Maryland than they did against Northwestern simply because they took care of the football, man. They didn't give Maryland short fields like they did Northwestern. They took care of the ball. They capitalized offensively. This is the second week in the row the offense has really clicked. The only difference was on Saturday, they didn't turn the ball over. They kept the ball, which means they capitalized offensively. They scored a touchdown. They were good in the red zone. They were really good on third down. Just a great effort really a great effort overall. I thought the defense was a little questionable. I thought Michigan played a much more aggressive style of defense than we'll see, obviously, on Saturday. I think Michigan will go back to a big zone this week against Ohio State for obvious reasons. Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith are going to play, guys. I mean, I don't know what you want. I mean, they're going to play. It's the game. They're playing. They're not, dude. I mean, they're playing, and they may not be at full effect, but Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate not at 100% is still pretty darn good. That's still pretty top of college football good. So doesn't matter. They're playing. They're going to be in effect. Michigan's not going to play that aggressive style of defense. I would hope. I think Michigan will play a big zone. Kind of hope that the forefront can get some pressure and drop everyone back. But as far as the Maryland game, again, I think it was a good game, most complete game. I think it was a great game for Michigan to have right before Ohio State to see what this team can be, to get some momentum, for them to see themselves and say, hey, when we play complete, we are a really good football team. We've seen it what did I say last week? We've seen it at points this year We have never seen it for a full 60 minutes. And listen, it will never be perfect, so I'm not going to complain about that. But this was a full 60-minute game by Michigan. And look what happens. You win by 25, 20, it was 45, 20, 45, 20, 25 points on the road. So actually, excuse me, I said Michigan did give up less points to Maryland than they did to Northwestern. It was 25, right? 45-20? 45-20? I don't know why I thought it was 25. 45-20. So, yes. But going back to it, you see what this team can do when they play a complete game and take care of the ball. Again, good win. But we really want to get into the big, exciting stuff now, which is Michigan, Ohio State. The game, Saturday in Ann Arbor, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Big noon kickoff. College game day's going. The whole country's watching it because it's the game and everything is on the line. For Ohio State, you win and you go to the Big Ten Championship for the first time. They haven't been to the Big Ten Championship since 2020, the COVID year. They haven't played in the Big Ten Championship in front of fans since 2019. Assuming they were in it that year, because they were the number one team in the country that year. That is right. Yes. So, Ohio State, I get there in the playoffs. There's a lot on the line for them. First Big Ten Championship berth in, 5 years, 4 or 5 years. For Michigan, you win this game. On a clinch Big Ten Championship berth, you would need Oregon to lose to Washington, or Indiana to lose to Purdue, but not a confirmed Big Ten Championship berth if you win, but a very solid chance of getting into the playoffs. Listen, if Michigan were to win this game, it would be tough to keep a 10-2 Michigan team out of the playoffs, and it's not 100% with a win over Ohio State. It's not 100%, but I find it pretty. The committee's going to find a way to put Michigan in. And again, a lot of things are going to happen this week. It's a rivalry week. It's weird. There's going to be things that happen. If Michigan wins this game, very solid chance for the playoffs. So, a lot on the line, and then it's obviously the game. Michigan has won 4 in a row. Ohio State has not won in 6 years of total time and has not beaten Michigan in 4 games in the series. Michigan has all the momentum, especially after that win last year in Columbus. It's just the game, man. These two schools hate each other. I hate that damn school. I hate Ohio. I hate the whole state. We hate each other. It's the game for a reason, man. It is the biggest game you'll ever play if you're one of these players, especially on the college level. The big house better be rocking, man. I know I'm going to do my part, but you got to send, if you know someone that's going, if you're going, be loud, be there early, make it hell for Ohio State. Make it hell. Getting into my keys for the game. The under part of the rivalry will never stop being talked about. You'll always talk about that. There's nothing more I can say. This is Michigan, Ohio State, the game. I know you guys expect me to hype it up a little more. It's the game. That's why it's called the game. You win and you're in. Most likely. It's big. But there's only so much I can say about it. So we are going to get into our keys for the game for Michigan. I think the biggest thing that's shifted this series from 8 wins for Ohio State in a row and winning, that streak Ohio State won. I don't know the exact amount of wins. I think it was 8 in a row before Michigan won. The game was always played under Ohio State's terms. Michigan tried to Ohio State. And when Ohio State has guys like Jeremiah Smith, Cardinal Tate, Chris Olave, I'm using past examples, Garrett Wilson, J.K. Dobbins, blah, blah, blah. It is very hard to Ohio State. In fact, you'll never do it. The reason Michigan is on this 4-game streak is because the game for the last 4 years has been played on their terms, on our terms. Running the football, making it a physical dogfight. We're going to kick you in the teeth. We're going to bust you in the nose. We're going to beat your ass. That's what Michigan has done for the last 4 years. That's why Michigan has gone on this streak. It's not because Michigan finally figured out the passing game or, they finally got a good offensive scheme. No. The game has been played on their terms. We saw it in 2021. 5 touchdowns on the ground for Hassan Haskins. 2022. 2 long 75-yard touchdowns. Long drives. 2023. JJ. He's still passing the ball, but these games have all been played on Michigan's terms. That needs to happen again on Saturday. The game needs to be played on Michigan's term. I think offensively, now listen, I do think offensively for Michigan, Ohio State is going to play, in my opinion, a very similar game plan to what they did against what Michigan played against Oklahoma, which was stack the box, put guys in the box, outnumber Michigan, and make Michigan throw the ball downfield, because Michigan's biggest, I would say, strength offensively is the run blocking, is the running game, obviously, with Jordan Marshall. Ohio State, in my opinion, will try to put numbers in the box. They will try to stop the Michigan run. Michigan has to throw the ball downfield early. And I know it's kind of just the polar opposite of what I just said, which is play the game on your terms. That doesn't mean you just go away from the run. You still try to make that your bread and butter, but you've got to show that you can throw the ball early. Because guess what? Then you do that. Then it balances out. Then you kick their ass. Then you're like, oh, okay, so now we're playing a forefront. Now you're playing Bryce Honest. Now we're gonna go back to beating the living shit out of you every freaking play. And I'm not saying abandon the run completely. You try it, but I think a big part of Ohio State's defensive game plan is going to be we make Bryce Underwood throw the ball downfield. We're going to put 5 guys, 6 guys in the box. We're going to make you throw the ball on us before we respect it, and give you guys the opportunity to run the ball, a lot like we saw against Oklahoma. And the thing in the Oklahoma game was Michigan was not able to throw the ball. Michigan was very stagnant offensively. They couldn't run it either because, again, there were so many guys in the box. Now, listen, this is a completely different offense for Michigan than what we saw against Oklahoma. And I don't care about the brand of defenses Michigan has played. You can just see Bryce has drastically improved. We have Andrew Marsh as a big-time weapon now. This offense is completely different. The run blocking is light years ahead of what it was against Oklahoma, regardless of how they played us. This offense is ahead by far. So I'm not saying it's going to be like that, but I think that will be a very similar game plan that Ohio State uses, and Michigan's got to counter that by establishing a pass game early. And then once Ohio State respects it, if that works, then you go back to kicking their teeth out. Defensively for Michigan, I think the biggest thing is to stop the run. And I know you guys probably thought, oh, well, Jeremiah Smith, Colonel Tate, listen. Michigan's got a young secondary. I mean, you saw Jordan Young is going to play probably. Jaden Sanders, both true freshmen. Mason Curtis, I guess he's not a sophomore. Michigan has got a young secondary. A secondary that hasn't been bad this year, but it's not been great. It's been okay. It's been fine. The secondary, I wouldn't say, has been the strength of this defense. It's been fine. It's been respectable. It's been decent. It's been decent. It's been fine. But it hasn't been great. Ohio State is going to throw the ball on Michigan. It's just going to happen. I'll say it right now. Ohio State's going to throw the ball a little bit on Michigan. I don't care what you say. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. They're going to find holes. They're going to find Jeremiah Smith. They're going to find Colonel Tate. It's going to happen. They're going to throw the ball on us. What Michigan cannot let happen is have Ohio State run the ball effectively too, because then it's okay, we're kicking their ass with both. We're doing both. Let's just roll a dice, flip a coin, run pass. Once Ohio State gets two-dimensional, they're dangerous. Michigan has to stop the run. They have to make Ohio State one-dimensional so they can put their focus down there. Because if Michigan has to bring, run blitzes, if Michigan has to bring a nose in, if Michigan has to, go to looks to stop the run because they're gashing us, that open up man coverage, it's going to be a long day. Michigan has to make Ohio State one-dimensional, and that means stopping the run because they're not stopping the pass against this Ohio State defense, against this Ohio State offense, especially with a secondary as young as ours. It's hard either way, but especially with a secondary as young as ours, it's hard. And Michigan's not going to be able to do it. So they've got to make Ohio State one-dimensional and stop the run so they can put more focus on the back end of the secondary and help the guys down there. I think that's my biggest key defensively for Michigan. I think, listen, this is a very good Ohio State team, but I think they're beatable. I don't think they've played anyone. I think what we saw last week from Michigan, and I don't care the opponent, the eye test does not fail. I don't care the opponent, the eye test does not fail. I think that's by far the best product of a team Ohio State has seen this year. I mean, Texas was awful. Dog crap. They were awful. They kind of still are, but they were awful at the beginning of the year, Texas. I remember watching that game, I was like, this is not two natty contenders. And I'm not saying Ohio State's not, but I was thinking, these are two teams that have some problems, not just two great teams battling it out. Ohio State's played no one. They've been at some close. They were up 3 against Penn State at halftime. They were up 11, 14-3 to Rutgers at halftime. They were up 7-3 with a minute left in the half. They're beatable. Like, this is not the, clear-cut number one in the team in the country. No one's even close to them. It's not that. That's Ohio State biased. That's Ohio State media. This team is not that. I'm telling you right now. This team is beatable if Michigan plays well. Now listen, for Michigan to win this game, they're going to have to play complete. And I think one of the biggest things is there's going to be mistakes, man. Bryce is going to misread a coverage, most likely. He might throw a pick. I hope not, but he might. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be blown coverages. There's going to be missed gaps. There's going to be missed blocks. It's got to be next play. We can't have the snowballing of getting down and, oh shit, like we saw in the Northwestern game, like we saw in the Purdue game, like we've seen in past games this year before the Maryland game, where it's mistake, it snowballs. It has to be mistake, I don't care, next play. That's got to be the mentality of this game. I think that's one of the biggest things. Mistakes are going to happen. It's the number one team in the country. Yeah, you're not going to play perfect. It's got to be next play. The crowd has got to support, the fans have got to support this team. We're all in it together, man. It's Michigan faithful, baby. It's us first time. Do your part. Stay with this team. They hear everything, man. They hear everything. It's us versus them, man. If there's going to be mistakes, I don't care. Next play mentality. If Michigan plays like they did against Maryland and fix some, tweak some things, I'm telling you, that performance against Maryland was good enough to beat Ohio State. Now, are there some things to clean up? Absolutely. This team is beatable, and Michigan, if Michigan plays like they did last week, I think they can win. It's going to be at home. It's going to be an environment. Ohio State's got pressure. Michigan's up in the fourth quarter. You're going to see that crying Ryan. Woo! I'm telling you, Michigan can win this game if they play like they did last week. Smash the ball. Again, offensively, they're going to come out, I think, like Oklahoma did. Once you establish your pass, smash the ball, give it to Jordan Marshall, make them pay. They don't want to play physical. They're Cali boys, man. We've seen it. This isn't a physical football team. They act like they tough, they not. run it down their mother effing face all game long. Um, it's the game. Playoffs on the line. I wouldn't want it any other way. Snow in the forecast. 25 a low. It looks like it's going to be cold, baby. I can't wait. Do your part and beat the hell out of Ohio. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go Blue for the basketball team tonight against Auburn. We'll have an instant reaction for that, but Go Blue. Still content all week coming, especially now that I'm off school for the week. Go Blue. Beat the hell out of Ohio.